Okay,
Okay, cool.
hey everybody, and welcome to Third and Short, NFL Females Weekly Podcast for all 32 NFL teams. Today I have with me Verlissa Lane, the official fan reporter for the Minnesota Vikings. Welcome, Verlissa, to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So it's been a long season waiting for football season to start and get kicked off. And you had the pleasure of having your team start off the Hall of Fame game with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So before the preseason game, what were your expectations for your team?
Well, I did attend one training camp, and nothing impressed me at training camp. Maybe because it was where I was sitting, but I wasn't very impressed just because they were doing a lot of running plays, and so I didn't get to see Mike Wallace. Stephon Diggs, he had that amazing catch, but that was it. But like I said, I didn't see too much of Mike Wallace, and that's who I really want to see, just because he came. He's a different player for the Vikings. He's not something that I didn't think we would pick him up. Because
Right.
he just at the time they did it, I just didn't think he would fit the Vikings. But it looks like, from what I'm hearing, from what I'm seeing, that he did. So when I was a little disappointed not to see him as much, on the field or doing things at the training camp that I did attend. And with this preseason game that came up, it seemed like it was the same thing I'd seen at training camp. I wasn't impressed. It just, I need more. Yes, it was great to see a football game in, over 9 months, but I wasn't, I wasn't impressed. I thought it was going to be a little bit more excitement. I mean, Teddy got, what, 4 or 5,
Yeah, 4 or 5 plays.
plays, and that was it. And I thought at least he would get at least the first half, but
Now
you
this
know,
is this is season number 2 for Teddy, right?
yes,
Okay, so he did pretty well last year.
yes,
And no, so how do you think um, he looked in the Hall of Fame game?
he looked he looked good. Don't get me wrong, he looked good. He looked confident, and which is and I'm happy as long as he feels and looks confident. Then hey, I'm okay with that. A lot of people are like stats and this, but he looked confident, meaning that he'll be okay. He believes his team, and he has faith in his team. So if I could see that just by looking at him, then I'm okay with what he's doing.
He
I'm
looked
okay.
like
I'd be okay with him in the season.
yeah, he looked like he was having fun. There's a point where he did this rollout and he saw an opening and he took it and slid right before the first down mark, and he got up and had big smiles. He
A
just
little
looked like he was
chuckle.
having
I
fun.
said, okay. And I'm okay if I see a lot of that. Like I said, I'm okay. He trusts his team. If he's confident in what he's doing, I'm okay.
That's good. That's good. It's good to have a quarterback that is confident in the way that he plays. He looks like he was confident in in how his reads were. He was doing his check downs. So he looked pretty good for just the small amount of time he was there, but it looks very
Yes.
promising. So going into that, okay, so we've got to go into the obvious here. AP. So you have AP back.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a question. Now you have your star running back itching to play,
Mhm. Mhm.
and but do you think with what happened last year that the fans are going to be able to forgive him and enjoy what he'll do this season?
Honestly, I think the fans already did.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I can barely remember. Like I see him and then it's all gone. I'm like, yes, AP. I think they already have, because I mean, they cheered. They were nothing but positive at training camp. I mean, honestly, I don't. I think most of these fans forgave him, at least for the season. They forgot about it, because right now he's got that look. that same look, like when he got hurt with his torn ACL and he came back and he was just determined. He's got that same look. So to me, I think he's going to do damage, and everyone else can see this look, that same look when he, that following year he ran for almost,
He almost ran for 2,000
1,000
yards.
yards.
Yeah.
That's that look that he has this year. So I'm just saying, people better watch out because he's back and he is determined. He is determined to come back as AP. And that look is there. That determination is there. So I think, and I'm ready for it because I see it. I say go for it.
Now he's got some pretty good backups. Matt Asiata did pretty well in the preseason game. He looked pretty good, and Jerick McKinnon.
Yes.
So now for those two, obviously AP's going to get the majority of the carries.
Of course.
But with those two, who do you feel stands out between those two to balance out the running game?
Definitely, Jerick. Because Matt, I like Matt, but there were times where we would watch the game and you'd be like, you know what, AP would have got 7 yards and you only got 3. It's I think he would be good on like third downs, or if we need 1 yard, you go and get that one, that 1 yard. But Jarrett, yes, if he's like an AP in training, and he said he wants to be like AP. So I think, if AP's not there, then Jarrett is going to be the next person.
So you think they might want to use Asiata in a maybe 2-point conversion?
2-point conversions, third and 1, third and 2. He's not as quick and off his feet like AP and McKinnon can be. So that's why I'm saying, he give him third and 2, third and 1, because we watched that whole season where, we could have seen AP, like I said, get 7 easily. Oh, he only gave us 3 yards. Okay. We're getting frustrated. So I would say, they'll probably bring him in for things like that.
So now, do you see the team as a more balanced offense with Bridgewater and then the running backs, and then you've got the obvious in Kyle Rudolph, the tight end. It seems like they've got a really good balance there. But what do you see in terms of just the balance of the game? Is Bridgewater going to be used more on a passing? Is he gonna? It's obvious. I would say it's going to be more of the running game because of AP.
Exactly.
But I know that with Bears there was the use of Forte last season with receiving and running. Do you see AP being used in the same capacity?
I think, it's going to be a lot of change up. It's going to be different than what we've seen last year because we didn't have Rudolph and we didn't have AP. We have them now, and we have Mike Wallace. So there is going to be a balance. It's balance. There's going to be those trick plays. I'm hoping to see more of. But I think the offense is very balanced. What I'm really concerned on is Matt Khalil because he was terrible last year, and a lot of people say he was because of his knees and he's hurt. And in training camp again wasn't impressed. So I'm hoping Matt Khalil comes back as what he did his rookie year. That's the Matt Khalil I want. If he can come back like that, then our offense has nothing to worry about. Okay. Because we have the Mike Wallace. Yep.
So going to the other side, defense. Who stood out for you on defense?
Anthony Barr. I
know.
And it's so funny because I had him picked in my mock draft, but I didn't have him, coming to us. But when they did pick him, I said, "Oh, thank you, Jesus." Yes. And this young man came out there wanting to play. I said, "Go, boy, go!" And I have been impressed. And defense, that is my thing. All I fell in love with defense. So when I see them out there, just I mean, we went what were we rated what the year before? 29,
Yeah,
30
29th, I believe. Yeah.
to what we moved up to 11. So I'm like, we're good. If we just do the exact same thing we did last year, I'm good. But this is Mike Zimmer. He's a cool guy, and I'm very impressed with what he did with our defense. So I think we're only going to get better. So we might bring back the old the purple people leaders back in from the '60s. So I think our defense is going to be that good.
You know what? And I have to agree with you there. I think your defense was pretty tight during the Hall of Fame game, and saw some really promising
Mhm.
tackles, some really good clean hits.
Yes.
It really looked like they were just making a statement. Even in that first game, they were going to come out and make a statement.
Hmm.
And Coach Zimmer's just like, this. These are my guys. This is what they're going to do. This is what I'm good at, and this is how my team's going to play. And you saw
Yes.
that at that game.
Yes. And Zimmer, you got to trust him.
Yeah.
And I do. You got
Yeah.
to trust him because he knows what he's doing with that defense, and it shows.
So
I
now your
mean,
special teams. Let's finish the whole phase. So you got your special teams.
yes, exactly. It's just like I said, the Vikings are like I said, every year we say it's going to be our year, but doggone it, I think it might finally be our year.
Now,
I
who's your return guy?
well, Cheryl's. I don't know who's it going to be because in training camp they had three. They had Cheryl's. They had Stefan Diggs even returned some,
Yeah.
and Cordell
Right.
returned some. So I'm not worried. Within all three of those, they can work in between themselves. They're all pretty good.
Yeah. I see them using Cordell a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah. I see him leaning on him a little bit more, but I think they're going to do very well, even on the kickoff returns. I think it's going to be a surprising year in a competition with the Vikings.
oh yeah. Like I
So
said, I think this is. I honestly do think this is our year. I say it every year, but I really do think it's our year. We have so many weapons, and these young guys. I mean, we're still a young team. We're still a young team, but you just look at them and you're like, it might be our year. I mean, we have weapons on both sides. Usually, we have holes in our defense. We've had holes in our defense for years. We don't have them. Our offense. Only thing I'm worried about, like I said, is Matt Khalil, and I'm hoping whatever problem he had, he fixed it because I don't want to see sophomore Matt Khalil. I need to see the rookie year Matt Khalil out there.
right, some of these rookies, it's a break or make year when it comes to the second year. If
Yeah,
you're not up to speed, then it's going to be the next man up.
next man up.
Right. So at this point, I think there is so much seriousness in the game. It's like every team is like we're starting over, and we're going to get this right, and we're done being the last team on the totem pole.
Yes,
We have to keep up with the green, with the Packers
yes,
and the Patriots and the Seahawks and the
yep,
Broncos. It can't be just those teams that are like straight up. They're the only ones that are going to win.
exactly,
All
exactly.
right. Well, thank you for joining me, Verlissa, and giving me your take on your Vikings. I hope they do well this year. Not obviously against my Bears, but
Well, but not
I
too
had to
well.
throw that in there. But hopefully they'll do well. How will you be doing any articles for NFL Female this season?
I will. I will probably wait until all the preseason games are done and then come up with one good one. And then once the season starts, weekly, you guys will be hearing me every week.
Awesome.
giving you a little update or my little, takes on what happened.
Cool. That sounds great. All right. Well, listeners, tune in next week and during the season as we talk game highlights and break